Welcome back to the vlog. Jackie and I are down in the New Forest. We're visiting family. Kyle, our son, his fiancée, and little Lily, our granddaughter. The dogs are having a trot in the forest right now. Had a school down here. I come every year to the New Forest, to a school called Orchard Infant School, a fantastic school, and we meet real animals from the New Forest, so it's great. Not horses, they terrify me. They can meet those for themselves for sure. And we've booked a hotel this time so we can stay over and spend a bit of time with the family, sort of two things in one go. It's about a 3.5 hour journey down here on a weekday morning, so long old travel. Anyway, we're poking around the forest in the pouring rain. It is, of course, English summertime. It's mid-June. What more would you expect here in England? Heat wave next week, they said 3 days ago. 29 degrees again. Oh no, now it's a couple of sunny days at 22 degrees. That didn't last long, that idea. Oh, we're walking around and we've walked all the way, got a road one side, we've walked into nearly a car park and we're trying to find a bit of quiet time. So Lily's having her first test day at school today, but it really is a generational thing, this nature boy and girl thing. We went in their house, there's a Bonelli's eagle sitting on the settee, growing on, a little Bonelli's eaglet that Kyle's rearing to fly. Equally, and as strange as it may seem, there's an orphaned wild rabbit running around the living room too. So it really does go on. If you are a nature boy or girl and you haven't already, why not follow the link in the description and check out my book that's coming out in June, early July. There's only 300 copies and they are selling fast, which I'm really pleased, and thanks everyone that's pre-ordered and bought a copy already ahead of time. So check that out if you love nature and you grew up in nature. You'll love the stories of my childhood, really, growing up in nature. What else is going on, Jackie? This is, we just said, quite relaxing, really. Our lives have become slightly overfull, haven't they?
Yeah.
We just feel like we are, what's the word?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. So it's not just we're physically working all the time, it seems. Mentally, there's no escape. We are constantly at work. Yeah, problem solving and working, really. I don't mean working where we're working an hourly rate and getting paid, but working for businesses. Jackie's a nurse, which takes up loads of time anyway. But yeah, we feel not getting a mental break. We've not done hardly any vlogging. Even my main
What's that?
I don't know, but I think we might have to get out of the way. Christ. Sounded like that tree was about to go over.
Tree, wasn't it?
Well, that doesn't look like a big tree till it's on your head, and it will weigh an absolute ton. So we'll keep moving. We're not going that way, Jackie. It's private land. Oh. So yeah, we're just not getting enough time to do the stuff normal people do when they're not doing anything related to work. So certainly ahead of time next year, we want to free up a bit of mental time and a bit more time to just be in the countryside. Ordinary things, fishing, falconry. They're ordinary, aren't they? Just taking your kids and grandkids out, discovering stuff, pond dipping, I don't know. Just ordinary, brain out, relaxing stuff. We don't get a lot of it, do we, Jack?
No, it gets so that you feel so emotionally and mentally tired, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sure other people can identify with it. You just can't.
Yeah, so Kyle works with Birds of Prey, and he gets up at 5 every morning. He does an hour bike ride around the New Forest with his dogs running along to exercise those. And he works until, I think, 8:15. And I said, gosh, you know, what time do you go to bed? He goes, oh, to be honest, Dad, we go to bed about 9:30. It's a bit early, isn't it, for a grown-up? And we said, 8:30 for us is probably...
If we can get to bed at 8:30.
Even before,
But
sometimes.
really, we're still working in bed.
So we'll go to bed early because we're brain drained, and then we'll be on our laptops or phones till 10 o'clock doing work stuff. And this isn't poor us, I'm sure a lot of you are the same. But I also know a lot of you get time to do the nature stuff that we love. So that's what we've got to claw back. We've got to somehow change things for next year and get a bit of time to enjoy the stuff that I want to show you on the channel that doesn't turn up because we're too busy working. So we've just shit ourselves, excuse the language. That tree that I said is cracking, we were walking towards it and I said that is going to go. It just went bang, bang, bang. Fucking hell. It literally fell towards us like a cartoon, and we could only, when we walked away, we could only go away from it. And I just grabbed Jackie and said, fucking run. Excuse my language, guys. We've got to run. It'll reach us. A tree way bigger than you ever can imagine. Way bigger than you can imagine when it's on the ground. It could go in 360 degrees. Look where those cars are. I thought it was going to actually reach them because it is shocking. And we were there, and I said, we can't run this way, we're going towards it, we just got to run that way. I fucking just grabbed her. Could have rot on that. It's unusual, that is.
Smell that?
It's totally rotten inside, yeah. Oh yeah, it smells like slightly rotten sap, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of rot in there. Look at that. So what's happened, I think, is obviously it's rotten. You've got a fork in a tree. It's a classic case where stuff can build up, water can get in. It's rotted the fork out. But they've only recently come into leaf, haven't they? Full leaf. And it's recently been pouring of rain. We've had a heat wave, a drying heat wave, only a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And then full leaf and torrential rain and windy days. And I think that's just added to the weight. That animal, I nearly said. So now we've got a really straight tree all the way up. Yeah, I saw them, yeah. But look at this. It's already lost one side, so this tree's doomed, isn't it? It's a big old beech though. It's an ancient beech. It's old. It's already lost this side, look. You can never, if you've never done any tree felling or tree surgery, you can't imagine how heavy these things are. Tons and tons and tons. It would flatten you as flat as a pancake. So that's lost there. It's now lost there. Now it's gone from a 3-pronged tree to one big vertical tree. Good luck to it though. Hopefully the centre of that bit's still going. But that's all alive, look. But the weight as the rot's gone in there. Anyway, that was by far the most adrenaline rush I've had for quite a long time. And we really, I know, we literally, guys, you know, I turned the camera off. We said, let's just go this way. And it went crack, crack again. I went, that's going to go. But you couldn't see which bit was coming down. You could just hear the tree cracking. And literally, like I say, we were there. We could either come towards it or away from it. But away from it when it was running across its path. It was like a cartoon where you always go, why'd they just run away from a falling tree and not just stand to the side? That was like, I just grabbed Jackie's coat and said, we've got to run, and pulled away. I was very, very pleased it weren't as long as I thought.
You just said, why are we walking towards that? That's going to go. It's cracking more frequently.
Loud cracks,
so we
aren't they?
turned the other way, and I thought it probably won't go till like sometime later. And then we heard it go, didn't we?
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So something I repeat an awful lot on my nature talks is that if you've got a garden or a school field, with very little work or effort on your part, you can definitely make it quite wildlifey. And foxgloves, absolutely brilliant. They really, really benefit the bumblebees. They look great in any sort of shady or semi-shaded part of your garden. And as I say, with very little effort, I've actually got a thornless blackberry bush in my garden, brambles without the thorns. Oh, so again, benefits so much wildlife. Hawthorn bushes, but look at this. So a little bit of effort with just a little bit of the right kind of planting, some water maybe, your garden becomes a representative in some way to woodland edge landscape. And that's why the birds and animals that frequent that sort of garden, in fact most garden birds and animals, are actually woodland animals. Woodland edge, the mixture of two different sort of ecosystems, is where life abounds in any woodland, and you can easily make your forest, or rather your garden, an attractive place to those forest animals. It takes very little effort, makes all the difference, not just to your mental well-being, but to the local wildlife. Sadly, the worst case of that is, of course, those of us that attract wildlife to live and breed among us in our garden spaces. We do provide a bit of a sinkhole for wildlife when most neighbourhoods are burdened with domestic cats, which sadly destroy vast quantities of that, whether it's you're lucky enough to have slow worms in your garden or just little birds breeding. So you attract it in and you make it fall victim, sadly, to the domestic cat. Some people say, oh, it's only natural for cats to hunt. Yeah, it is. It's natural for them to hunt, but it's not natural for cats to be at the volume they are in urban environments or suburban environments. Look at Scottish wild cat populations and natural species. How many cats inhabit X amount of square miles? It's hardly any. And then look at Google how many cats live in suburbia. Critically, do some searching investigation. How much wildlife just in the UK do domestic cats destroy annually? The numbers will boggle your mind, but all we can do is do our best to make a home for that wildlife, and a bit of wildlife gardening goes a huge way. So cheekily, there's 2 snakes in here now, but we should have a clutch from Blue Beauty number 2. Again, look how savage these Blue Beauty snakes are. Ripping my hands off, living up to their reputation. Thanks, Tommy. This is a snake that's my cousin grew on, and it's the first time she's bred. Some funny looking eggs compared to the other ones, but it's her first ever clutch. Not a bad clutch though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Yeah, 15 or so, and a couple of dodgy ones. Hopefully, I'll have a few Blue Beauties this summer, 2026. So, this time Shy's escaped. She's found a gap in her fencing. I need to find out where, because I don't know where, but she's all locked up. The big one hasn't escaped, and she's now, she's walked, wow, I don't know, gosh, 150 meters. We've been on the stroll around our lovely wildlife garden, enjoying basically the fruits of her labour. Something that gladly hasn't escaped is our captive bred sand lizards. I've not seen one for a while. My God, wow. Isn't that a beautiful species of reptile here in the UK? Pretty much our rarest reptile. These are captive bred examples. That is a pretty creature, not quite fully grown. It's an adult male, but it can still grow quite a chunky bit more next year. Good to see one out now. There's a few of them in a huge 8-foot by 8-foot enclosure. So not always easy to spot in that naturalistic habitat. What a beauty. So I'm at a regular school visit today in Northamptonshire, on the other side of Northamptonshire from where I live. And I always end up with a 2-hour lunch break here. Now that's too long. I'd rather get home 2 hours early and sort out the animals. Nothing worse than sitting around, because when you've always got stuff to do. So I've drove 20 minutes from the school, gives me about half an hour here, to one of only a couple of sites in Northamptonshire where you can find adders. Now, when I was a kid, this forest was a mecca for reptiles and amphibians, but just local people walk their dogs there now and again. And then they used it for a red kite release. And that brought, of course, the RSPB, setting up visitor centres and all sorts to make money out of. And then, of course, now red kites are 2 a penny. And so they shut down the visitor centre because it's not making them any money, I guess. And it's just become a visitor centre of a forest, a campsite, cycle routes, dog walking hours. And, of course, no reptiles and snakes, like that kind of impact of people and dogs. Yeah, I don't know, it's in the last decade or more, since I was a kid, you can still find adders here, but nothing like abundantly as they were. I usually walk. I haven't got time to go all the way into the forest and my known adder spots. Walking along the road here, if you can look in the little sun traps and under roadside debris, you'll see adders and slow worms. But opposite, a lay-by, hidden from all view of the cars, is the most wonderful wildflower meadow, full of herbs, full of oxeye daisies right now, and absolutely brimming with ringlet butterflies, and something it's really not known for, really abundant with, is one of my favourite butterflies that you never saw when I was a kid in this part of England, and that is, I'm looking at one now, the marbled white butterfly. Stunning. So I'll turn you around and we'll just see what we can see in 20 minutes. It's about 22 degrees in the shade today and the sun is fleeting, and with the sunshine we're seeing these butterflies. Look at them. Just so attractive. Omnipresent red kite, of course. Now they live everywhere in Northamptonshire, but this was their release site in this part of the country. So they're very common here, eating a roadkill on the main road that runs through. Very busy road for commercial traffic, very noisy. Hardly ever know there was a road here at all. You go and look along the roadside virgin. I mean, look at that, isn't that just glorious? Very few beautiful meadowlands like that around in Northamptonshire. What just a haven for invertebrate life and everything else that goes with it. Look at this blue. So the woodland itself, look at that, guys, is home to, hold on, hair streak butterflies, white admirals, and those beautiful iridescent butterflies. You know what I'm talking about. The purple emperor. So we live in a very depleted country, part of the world, and very depleted in its wildlife, its natural history. Probably about a 50% depletion in insect volume in Britain in my lifetime, statistics are telling us. But places like this do show you that old saying of, if you give nature a home, nature will come. Ringlet butterflies, so abundant. Oh, look at these guys, it's just lovely meadowland. It's just swarming in marble white butterflies. Again, a species that just didn't see anything. Very, very scarce, and wasn't a known really species. Well, it was a species I never saw in Northamptonshire as a kid, ever. And believe me, I saw, caught and chased an awful lot of butterflies as a child. So at the start of the video we sort of discussed, you know, just having no time. I used to walk around here, bring a you know, something to eat, a big backpack of drink, and I'll just go looking for reptiles and amphibians and spend the whole morning down here. It's an hour from my house, 45 minutes from my house. Now, if you ever watched the vlog, you've seen this place once a year. It's literally, I come to this school once a year and I use my lunch break really briefly to have a quick poke around. Usually always find adders in this spot here and in front of me along the roadside verge. I haven't found adders along that verge now for probably 5 years plus. They're just more depleted. The habitat stayed pretty good. It's all left as a set aside of wildflower on the verge itself. So it's full of insects, plenty of common lizards, loads of slow worms. Haven't seen an adder for quite some time. Human encroachment just totally makes wildlife less abundant. That's just a fact. It's just a fact. People mean less wildlife, although we can do an awful lot to make up for how we've changed the landscape and create more wildlife. But certainly wild places, wildlife is more abundant when there's not as many people and dog walkers. And yes, I love dogs too. For a butterfly that's just dark brown and white, they are stunning. Beautiful slow worm and a bit of roadside vegetation. Or rather, roadside junk. Absolutely brimming with grasshoppers. Loads of food for those lizards, the common lizards. Well into June now. Much harder to find adders than it is in very early spring and into spring, because now the herbage has grown up. They can lay sunbathing almost totally concealed from view. That zigzag breaking up their outline. Much easier to find them when nothing's grown up in the early part of the year. Cold tolerant snake that can be out sunbathing pretty much in every month of the year. It's been overcast and warm today, great snake weather. But of course now it's lunchtime and I'm free for an hour or so. It's really, really, really hot because the sun's been coming in and out. Get the idea. Just a roadside verge on the edge of a mature forest, mature woodland, with all these people and all these cars and vehicles. The habitat's there. You can still find them. The last place I ever found an animal on this verge several years ago now. Used to find them here every time I came. My daughter has found an adder along this verge more recently than I. She said, I'm going to go out looking for adders, and I said, you won't find any today. It's 32 degrees and there will not a single snake will be out basking in this temperature in the UK. This company came back with some video of a massive but a massively gravid female adder fully basking in the sun when it was 30 plus in the shade. So likely patches would be somewhere like this where I can just disappear, sheltered hollow, catching the rays. but they can still disappear. Or somewhere like this. So my whole life, younger life, is doing things like this. Just out looking for wildlife, fishing, bug hunting, just seeing what I can find and catch. I'm certainly at that age where that's really what I want to return to. Less keeping less stuff, less birds of prey personally, and less reptiles. More outdoor keeping, but really just more going back to my roots and studying and finding these things in the wild. Definitely more of what I want to do. I love my job. I've had a great time today at school already. But I don't want to go to work because work means you have to go because you have to pay all your bills. I want to lessen that and do more of the stuff of just living in life, nature, chilling out, enjoying, soaking it all up, seeing it all before it's too late. Well, that was going to be a dead cert. Never seen an adder along here. It's after lunchtime. The sun's pointing the right way because this is where they want to be sunbathing. Escape straight away. They've got a good route up and down the verge line, which is where, say, they've always been. Loads of rabbit warrens and things for hibernaculums. Always found on that side. Until recent years, of course. I've never found any along here. Partridge. I'm not going to loiter too long because I am trespassing. And I don't like getting told off. Isn't it amazing? Just the commonest bindweed. Just a weed or a beautiful wild flower. It's certainly a bit hot for snakes now, but adders giving birth to live young, they really thermoregulate those gravid females to get the best development for their unborn offspring. So yes, you can definitely find the females out in the heat of the day, but they're definitely not going to be laying there all day long. In and out, keeping just right. But usually a much easier snake to find on cold spring days, you know, even when it's not even, it's like 1 above or just a few degrees above, but the sun's out, because that sun's energy is still warming the ground. And you'll even find adders basking when the surroundings are covered in snow. But I don't expect to find any today, because I've made this video every year for the past several years, and it's been a long time since one of them featured an adder from this little stretch. no reason they wouldn't be here. Well, there's no reason they wouldn't be where we are right now. But never found one along here, and we don't have long. Here's a beautiful plant of disturbed rough places, fireweed, rosebay willow herb, because those flowers turn into huge spikes of beauty that butterflies especially love. Great looking weed. Okay, so it's time to hit the road. Back to school for me. We've got 2 more 45-minute sessions. Little kids, year 1, year 2 kind of age. I forgot which one. And we're learning about animal groups today. What makes things distinct? You know, what makes you a mammal, a reptile, an amphibian, an invertebrate, an insect, an arachnid, a bird. So that's what we're teaching, basic natural history. But wow. A nice rest for my brain. Back where I belong. So work-life balance. How do you achieve it? We all need money, whether we like it or not, really. Just getting that balance right. So that's something Jack and I are going to strive towards over, you know, the next sort of 8 to 12 months. More of this and less watching a clock, less setting an alarm clock, and less having to. Get to a certain age, time is the most expensive commodity you own. Very finite indeed. Catch you later.